heard many different reasons in the last year or two about why somebody in this group is not inclined to be affiliated with Patent Free Library, including the fact that they were closed because of the COVID and you couldn't go in. Well, the town office was closed, we couldn't go in, so let's get rid of them too. I just think there has to be an end point to this discussion. We've got to accept either, the committees or the selectmen's or the budget advisor have to come, everybody's not going to be satisfied. Of course, it's very important to take into consideration everyone's concerns, but close the door, at least until there's some substantive change. Let it end, please.
I recognize the right of anyone to ask any questions any year, and so be it. If we have to vote every year, so be it.
Right. The town can't spend any money without a vote. So everything's gonna be voted on every year, including the appropriation for the patent-free library. So, there'll probably be some discussion, but the question of affiliation, I don't understand why the work of the committee 3 years ago was not respected myself.
Well, I think this will probably get me voted out, and that's okay, but I think, again, town meeting is the thing that it's going by the wayside. You see who's here, this is who's making the decisions for the town, and I think we need to find a way to be more inclusive, and I'm not sure how to do that.
One of the comments I've heard about from new residents is they have been to one town meeting, and they said, well, there's no sense in going, it's already decided anyway, because of the way the warrants are presented. There's not the old-fashioned, really down and out discussion in which the wording and everything is set. Back to the old days where it's done on a Saturday and it's a national holiday or state holiday.
Everybody could speak and be allowed to speak and weren't shut down, or I've even heard some comments that's just not appropriate. I mean, we should all respect one another and each other's opinions, and we've gotten away from that now.
Yeah. And I just want to add, I think it was a little unfair that Suzanne's kind of been targeted about this library. I know many people who I'm not going to name that are unhappy that the library is so much more every year with the huge endowment. And it's not that the library isn't a good thing, it's that it's a lot of money. And those people are not going to speak up. And primarily because of what ends up happening when you do. And I think it's very fair that we have this straw poll. It's not binding. Everyone can say their piece in an anonymous way. And we'll see where it shakes out. And I agree, I don't want to go over this every year anymore either. So I think that's why the straw poll is an excellent idea. But I think everyone needs to calm down and stop being so personal to each other about it.
I'm not against libraries.
I'm not either.
I'm against people having their choice of where they'd like to go. But I think a library is a great opportunity for people, generically. I'm not against a library at all.
I think library choice is a good thing too.
I think you have
And
to
I think a
also
lot
look
of
at the
people will
cost.
choose the patent-free library. So maybe they just need a choice.
And cost is one of those factors, so that's where you go back to the report and look at what we discovered. And of course,
The
look
town
at
is
see
going to
if
pay
they
for
can-
the card, Marilee.
We looked at all that per card price and everything. It was, it's all laid out in the report. I understand.
No one's going to go without library if it goes to library choice, I don't
That's
think.
not, third choice was no funding.
But they have that this year. They can choose this year. Without this straw poll, people can choose not to fund the library.
Yeah.
That's been there every year. That's not different.
I didn't mean to start it all over again, I'm sorry. I've been
I
sitting back here and I just think it got a little personal and a little too heated, and it's not just Suzanne, okay?
Can I, there's just one more thing that I would just like to say, and I'll say it quickly. The patent-free library cannot base a budget on not knowing what we're going to receive from the town. So if if we go to library choice, I don't know that this has been said, services are gonna suffer for everybody because we cannot afford to continue the services that we have with library choice if we don't know what our revenue is gonna be. And I think you can all appreciate that. How can you plan a budget when you don't know what you're gonna get? Services will suffer, and that is the reality of it. I think that needs to be said and known. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we appreciate you saying that, but what it comes across as, and I just need to say this because several town people have come to me, is that we always feel threatened with Patent-Free Library, that we're being held hostage. So somehow to change that
Yeah, it was,
thought process.
Why don't I get a choice which fire department shows up at my house? I mean, come on.
No, it
It
does
was
feel like.
cost. Cost was one of those factors, madam.
Right, but we always say it
And
was
nobody
not
was a better value.
going to continue if you don't do this. We're not gonna do this, and you know, just the language and somehow changing that to, instead of a negative,
Yeah.
a positive, and maybe we can talk about that, because that's what I hear from people. We feel like that Patent-Free Library is holding us hostage. So how do we change that perception? And I'm just being frank and honest with you.
That's good, and that's the kind of dialogue that needs to be had, and.
Relative to that point, I remember at last year's town meeting, which was not very well attended, socially distanced, and you guys did a great job to set it up, given the circumstances. But somebody from the library board, who is a resident of West Bath, brought a sheet of paper explaining some things about it. It was probably illegal to have that.
No, it's okay at an open town meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever that page was,
was a good page.
it was a good page, and it was very convincing to the people sitting in that room.
That was me, and this is this year's. It's on the town website, so that has,
Well, I just think that, if they vote no, or whatever, there's a sheet of paper that really should be a starting place for deliberations, and it's not like it's a new deliberation. But that page just really put things in very clear.
Are these available at the town office? Do we have a list?
yeah, it's on the website.
Is it available anywhere else, like the local market or the school or?
Not that I'm aware of, but that's.
No, in South Colony is on the website, will you just give me a piece of paper I can read my, sit in a comfortable chair
Yeah,
or on the porch?
I
It's
can,
on the
I can
website.
tell you that if you're a West Bath cardholder, you receive either an email or a snail mail, which included that. in it.
Okay,
You know, I've had more upset West Bath
I'm
citizens that they
terrible.
can't get the Times Record on Monday because they like having that piece of paper.
Oh,
in
because
front of them.
they don't have it Monday anymore.
So again, that some of them just want that piece of paper.
well, I mean, you realize how many things you say are on the website, well, you don't have to have every day on the website, somebody looking to see what you're supposed to know. I'm tired of that.
And how many people still, I'm gonna say people over 65 still don't have access to it.
Right, or they don't have broadband, or they, whatever.
You could always come see us at the town office. We'll
Yeah.
bring you out whatever you
We'll
need.
try to practice. The other thing I was gonna say is,
No, some
I'm
people
thinking,
don't feel that they have the skills, Marilyn, to learn how to use the computer at 60.
and I
Library came
don't,
up with that.
yeah, don't you think that part of this is also, and I may be wrong, but there's a bit of a distrust about Bath, period?
Yes,
Yes.
We've had some bad things go on, and so,
I do.
Anybody who says anything, doing anything with Bath, I think, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah, I do.
You mean that RSU once stole $1.6 million from us? Knew they were just stealing it and did nothing about it even when their lawyer told them it was wrong?
It's okay though, they needed the money.
Or they didn't tell us when the $400
But I just
something
think that's
thousand
important
dollars
to put out
was.
there too.
Yeah.
That it's really not about, in some ways, I don't think it's all about Patent-Free Library. I think a little bit is, and I think a whole lot about it
Yeah.
is RSU.
Yeah.
And other historical things going back to 1844.
When West Bath split off.
Hey, we don't forget these things.
No, we don't. We're proud of it.
I really appreciate everybody's passion on both sides. All I would ask as we go forward, let's be kind to one another.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a new office, a founder's office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
As always.